We are about to enter the most critical trading week of this quarter and maybe for the rest of 2024, but we are here to be fully prepared. Like, subscribe, and let's see the charts. So let's see what SPY and friends brought us in the past trading week. It feels like the world is crashing, the world is going down, and the market is just sliding down, but breathe, look left. SPY in the past two trading weeks, less than 3% to the downside, less than 3% in just two trading weeks. It feels like the market is crashing. We need to control our emotions. We need to identify our emotions. And if after this bull run since the low of April until the peak just 2 weeks ago, after 15% to the upside, market is going down less than 3% and we are feeling that our world is crashing, ladies and gentlemen, we need first to handle our stop losses much more tighter, and we need to reduce position size. Maybe, not maybe, for sure, if you're feeling like this after 2 red weeks, you are trading with a much larger size than you can handle. 537 now is the support, below it 528 and 520 to the downside. RSP holding strong, 2 consecutive dojis above the 166 area. As long as we are above the yellow zone, above the upper board of the yellow zone, we are good to go long on RSP. Long continuation, 172 and 176. QQQ in the past 3 trading weeks, since the peak of July until the low of last week, just above 9% to the downside. Yes, the QQQ looks a little bit worse than the SPY, but if we look left, ladies and gentlemen, 2 candles to the downside, we are above the 458 area. 447 needs to hold, and with this volatile week, the most important week of this quarter and maybe until the rest of 2024, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all the big names, earnings coming up, and we have FOMC rate decision on Wednesday. My tip to you, don't trade. Sit on hands, sit on a fence, do whatever it takes. If you want, you can look at the charts, look at the market volatility, look at the price action, but do nothing. Do nothing. Do not hit the buy, do not hit the sell. If you have open positions, manage your risk. In my opinion, it's not the week to open new positions. Unless you are super professional trader, it's very, very natural to want to buy, to want to sell, because I'm a trader. If I don't buy, if I don't sell, so what do? One of the biggest issues that we have as trader is to just let it go. Sit on hands. Do nothing for 1 week. It's super hard, super tough. Once you learn how to control your emotions as much as possible, you will see much better results. Dow Jones ended up the week with 0.75% to the upside, holding strong above the 398 area. The upper board of the yellow zone was a very important area of resistance. Always look left, trade right. Long continuation, 413 and 424. IWM just filled previous week's week. This week of the week of July 15th, this tail just got filled. Once you see this kind of tails, you know that you need to understand that it's like gap. These kind of tails are like gaps. Look at this tail, got filled. This tail got filled. Whether this tail is to the downside or to the upside, you know that more than 85% chance this tail will get filled. It's like gaps. Long continuation on the IWM towards the 236 and 248, as long as we are above the 212. Bitcoin, for the time that I'm recording this video, not much of a price action in this week. 68,800 is a resistance. It was resistance over here. Now once again resistance. We are above the yellow zone. Let's see continuation. Another few days above the 68 and we are heading north to a new all-time highs. Ethereum, on the other hand, looks not good. Not good at all. With all the huff, puff and buzz around the new ETFs on Ethereum. Ethereum closed the week. For now, not closed. We still have just under 2 days above until the weekly will close on the crypto land. We are 8% to the downside. 30.84 is the support. Below it, 28 to the downside. Magnificent 7. MAGS is the ticker. In just 3 weeks, MAGS went down 14% to the downside. Bearish on all time frames. Now 41.50 needs to hold. 5 out of 7 magnificent Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday earnings. Stay away of the Magnificent 7 for this week. SOXX, the semiconductors ETF, in the past 2 trading weeks, 12% to the downside. We are back to end of May prices, bearish on all time frames, but we are still above the yellow line. This line helps us identify the higher lows since October. It doesn't mean we need to start taking long on SOXX, because SOXX and the Magnificent 7 are under falling knife. It's a falling knife. If you try to catch a falling knife, you know what happens. You will get caught, and in the markets, you will burn your portfolio. XLF holding strong above the 42 area. Now let's see continuation towards the 44, 45, 30 and 47. As long as we are above the 42 area, the upper board of the yellow zone, XLF is on the go for long. XLU, 2 consecutive dojis. We have a multi-top scenario over here. Very tough resistance on this area, the 72 area. 69.80 holding support. Below it, 67.80. The upper board of the yellow zone. We do have here this double top scenario on the XLU, and you will see many names in general are under the impression of, under the scenario of a double top scenario. XHB, one of the strongest sectors, together with the KRE. We will talk about the KRE in just a few seconds. Look at the XHB. In the past 3 trading weeks, XHB just gained almost 20% to the upside. We're at the upper border of this amazing broadening formation. Now let's see, can we break above this broadening formation? And once we will break above a broadening formation, bulls will get another boost going towards the 131. XLE continues to hang inside the yellow zone, and once we are inside the yellow zone, it's a no trading zone. Long continuation above the 93 towards 95 and 98. Below the 89.80, we will see 87.80 and 84.60. Just put the FT on your chart and you will see things you never saw before, and it helps you manage your positions. It helps you make better, smarter decisions, whether to go long, whether to go short, whether to do nothing. Look at the KRE. Since we talked about breaking above the 50 area, just go to my weekly market recap. During May and June, we have been waiting for this breakup. And since then, since here, KRE 18% to the upside. If you follow me, you should hold the KRE. Are you holding KRE? Let me know in the comments below. What are your current positions? KRE going towards this yellow trend line with the 61 area as resistance. It will become a very tough resistance, but it's a good resistance. It's resistance for the higher highs. Breaking above it, and we will see 68 and 73 to the upside. Apple, 2 weeks to the downside overall. just above 5% in just 2 trading weeks. Apple earnings coming up Thursday, August 1st after the bell. 209 needs to hold below it, 191 to the downside. And you know my opinion about Apple and the rest of the market, and especially the Magnificent Seven. Stay away from them until next week, until after next week. Microsoft, bearish on the daily, bearish on the weekly. Microsoft, since the peak just a few weeks ago, 9% to the downside, holding above the lower border of the yellow zone, the 418, holding barely inside this option channel, above the lower border of this option channel, the red line, breaking down and under 406, 387, and earnings coming up Tuesday after the close. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think where Microsoft is heading after earnings? 387 or back to the 470? Nvidia, we are still under the impression and the pressure of this double top scenario. We've been talking about this double top scenario in the past few weeks or so, and here we are now. 108, the 50% retracement is holding a support. Below it, 191 to the downside, bearish on all time frames. And yes, also Nvidia, for now, downtrend until proven otherwise. Do not try to be a hero. Do not try to catch the dip, because no one knows where the dip is. And if you follow someone that tells you buy now because the dip is here, you just need to stay away from them, because no one knows where the dip is. Look at Google. Each and every week that goes by, bears of Google are getting stronger and stronger. You can see it by the size of the candles, are going larger and larger each and every week that goes by. Now the next support is the 161, 154, and yes, more than 85% of all gaps. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Tesla just gave almost all 1st of July's candle back. Look at this. Now this area, the 220 area, is a very, very important area of support. Why? First, it's the upper border of the yellow zone, and we know that according to the FTI, it's the most significant and most important area of support and resistance. And we also have this red trend line. You know this red trend line. It is lower highs and resistance for lower highs since November of 2021. Yes, we broke it up above. And as we always say, one candle does not change the overall sentiment. It took 3 weeks, but here we are, back retesting this red trend line from resistance to support, breaking down and under. We are back to the 190 on Tesla. Amazon continues to move sideways inside the yellow zone, and if you look left, we can see that Amazon really likes to move sideways inside the yellow zone. It was inside the yellow zone since end of March until end of June. 3 months of sideways move. Are we going to get the same price action on Amazon also now? Let's see. Amazon Thursday, earnings coming up. Until then, do not touch. Netflix continued to grind down slowly. 619, the 50% retracement now is holding a support. 601, 580, and 542. And earnings was pretty good. But the market doesn't care. The market do what the market does. It does what it wants. AMD heading towards this very, very important area of support. Why it's so important area of support? Just look left. Look here. It was the peak of May. Very tough resistance. Now needs to hold the support, also because it's this yellow trend line that helps us identify the higher lows since October of 2022. Each and every time AMD is getting further from this yellow trend line, it's coming back here, here, and over here. AMD just lost 24% in just 2 trading weeks. Never happened before on AMD. Bearish on all time frames. If this area will fail to hold, earnings coming up Tuesday after the bell. If this area will fail to hold, we are heading south. Once again, below 100. Meta. 3 consecutive weeks to the downside. Just lost 14.5% to the downside. Also Meta under the impression of a double top scenario. 441 now is the support, below it 414, and then 380 to the downside. Meta's earnings July 31st. Palantir ended up the week with 5% to the downside. We still have time until next Monday, August 5th. We've been talking about these 2 dojis, right? We said that these dojis might signal a trend reversal, some kind of a pullback, and here we are. We are still holding above the 26 area, very important area of support, breaking below, and we are going back to the 24. Is it the time to go long on Palantir? I would like to see at least another few days holding above the 26 area. Shopify continues to slide to the downside. Now the 55 area is the support. Below it, we will see all these future supports to the downside. Shopify earnings still have time, but for now, bearish on all time frames. MicroStrategy bullish on all time frames. MicroStrategy earnings Thursday, August 1st after the bell. Now this area, the 1790 area, was resistance. Now once again resistance. Let's see continuation, and we will see 2K and 2270. We still have a gap over here, and you know what happens with gaps? Yes, they will get filled. 85% chance. SMCI just lost in the past 2 trading weeks, 23%. Now the 660 needs to hold a support, otherwise SMCI going south. 530, 447, and all this uptrend, all this price action we saw over here beginning of 2024. Earnings coming up August 6. We might see the same price action, but to the downside. AVGO continues to the downside, close the gap it had over here. We had a gap over here at the 150. We closed it together with this trend line. Now let's see, can AVGO get back to itself? But for now, bearish on all time frames. Below 144, we will see 133. Eli Lilly in the past 2 trading weeks, 15% to the downside, ladies and gentlemen, breaking below the yellow zone, heading south to the 770 and 717. And just like that, in just 2 trading weeks, we are back to end of May. The same price action, the same price we saw on May. Do not try to catch a falling knife. Do not try to catch the dip, because for now there is no dip. This is not a dip. We need to see a significant trend reversal. Only then we will know if the dip is here. Overall, SPY only. Yes, only 2.7% to the downside. That's it. And once again, if you feel in a turmoil, if you feel you cannot control your emotions, if you feel like your portfolio is going to blow up, so you need to do one thing. Reduce your size. So once again, thank you very much for watching this video. I do hope you find it helpful, educational. If so, like, subscribe, check the links in the description below. Join me today and we will start making money whether the market goes up or go down. Until the next video, stay safe.